All right. Cat and Mouse was a comic book that I did with Mitch Bird and Roland Mann many, many years ago, back when we were in college at the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg. Mitch and I came up with it. Well, actually, it was Mitch that came up with the concept. I remember approaching Mitch. This is like right after I'd first met him, and I saw another friend of ours had said, "Have you met Mitch Bird? He draws like you." I said, "He draws like me." He said, "Well, he kind of draws like you. You're more into superheroes. He's more into like stuff that you would find in Heavy Metal magazine." And so I said, "Okay, I got to meet this guy." And so whenever I went, we were rooming in the same building. And so I just found his room, knocked on his door, and told him who I was. And he remembered me because we had seen each other in we had a life drawing class together. And I said that I was told that, that you were into comics and stuff. He said, "Well, I'm not so much into comics, but I like to draw." And he showed me some of his stuff, and then my jaw hit the floor, and I said, "Okay, we probably need to team up on something," because I showed him some of my stuff, and we found that we were different styles, but I said, "I think we could mesh together." And back then he was working mostly in pencil, and he gave me some of his pieces to ink, and then I inked them, and then we just started coming up with concepts. Cat and Mouse was one of them, and it was basically two cat burglars the story was set in New Orleans, and that was pretty much it. Mitch came up with I think it was like a 4-page, like a tryout thing that we were going to be sending to different independent companies, and we did, and we got rejection letters, but they were good rejection letters. I mean, they were very helpful. They were basically telling us what we need to work on, and please submit again, that type of thing. So they were very, it was very helpful. This was before we met Roland. But when we did meet Roland, things kind of kicked into high gear, because Cat and Mouse was not the only idea that we